If anyone had the pulse of Florida voters leading up to the election, it sure wasn't the pollsters. They were wrong, not only here, but in other key battleground states. How did they get it so wrong? We asked Dwayne Lindo to find out. Dwayne.
Well, Alan, with so many different types of pre-election polls out there, you would think there were a few that came close. Nationally, that was the case. But some state polls had no realistic path for Trump with a victory. Now experts are finding out exactly what was overlooked.
For Audrey Martin of Sarasota, the reason pre-election polls didn't predict Donald Trump the winner of this year's historic presidential election is simple.
There were a lot of people in the background who didn't voice their opinions going through the time period.
According to University of South Florida political professor Eric Hodges, that's part of the reason some pre-election presidential polls were wrong. He says national polls, which reflect what the popular vote will be, were pretty accurate on average.
Clinton actually won the national popular vote by 2.5 million votes, which, actually comes pretty close to that, 3 to 4% margin that a lot of the national polls were actually saying that she was going to win by.
But according to New College political professor Keith Fitzgerald, the state polls were a different story.
Which meant that they missed the Electoral College, which is what really matters in the whole thing. So then you have to start digging down into these state polls and see where the problems were and which ones were way off.
Experts say there were a few big factors that many state pollsters overlooked.
They underestimated the turnout of one major group, and that was white working class people with less education than college. They showed up in big numbers on the day of the election.
Fewer African Americans turned out to vote, and fewer voted for Clinton. But that's not all.
You got a much higher support level among Hispanics than was expected. I think 35% of Hispanics actually supported Donald Trump.
Also a trend polls would not pick up.
The hidden Trump factor, which it's in political science is known as the Bradley effect. And essentially it says that people are ashamed or embarrassed to actually admit in a poll or survey that they're going to vote for a particular person.
And with such a diverse population, it can be a challenge for pollsters to get a true representation of America, especially using a particular method.
If you use a phone, which most national surveys do, you're more likely to get an older audience, right, which can skew your results. If you're using online surveys, you're going to be more likely to get younger voters.
The bottom line, says Hodges, opinion polls are snapshots of a sentiment at a given time, not a foolproof prediction.
A lot of us thought a couple of weeks out that we definitely knew what was going on, but if this election taught us anything, it's to expect the unexpected.
It's not the polls that count, says Martin. It's what takes place on Election Day.
I think the people spoke. I think they were just ready for that change.
Now, the key is using these polls as a starting point and a gauge, as numbers can fluctuate from week to week.
Right, Dwayne, thank you.